Hi, I'm Allie with Allie's Organics. It's summer and it's time to start thinking about saving those tomato seeds. You always want to pick a tomato from a healthy plant that's vigorous and produces well if you can. And you always want to save from an heirloom tomato plant or an open pollinated, never a hybrid, because you never know what you're going to get. There's a couple of things that you need to know before saving your tomato seeds and making sure that they stay true to their parent plant. You can either isolate them and cover them, each tomato, the whole plant, with some netting just to keep from insects from pollinating them, or you can actually plant them 20 foot apart, or you can actually use a little bag over each little section of tomato blossoms. You'll need to make sure that tomato blossoms have not opened yet, like these, and you'll just simply place a tomato cover. Make sure that it's breathable. You never want to use plastic, and you want to be able to have some sunshine on it. And just place it right inside here. Tomatoes have everything that they need within their own blossom to pollinate themselves. So you do want to make sure that you move it around a little bit until it develops a little tomato like this guy right here. Then the bag can come off, but you need to make sure that you mark this tomato knowing that this is going to be a true tomato. This is a tomato that we originally put a bag over to make sure that it didn't have any cross-pollination, and we put a tie on it and it's ready to be picked. It's nice and it's got some softness to it. It's fully mature. It doesn't have any cracking. It's really healthy. It's a nice size. This is a persimmon tomato, and we're going to save the seeds off of that. Each tomato can have anywhere from 10 up to 300 seeds in each tomato. So you can see where you'd have some saving your own seed. We're going to clip this guy. I like to use scissors. We've got another tomato here, and sometimes when you pull them off, it causes them to break. By saving tomato seed grown in your area, they adapt and they grow better the following year, and they become more productive as well. So it's really worth saving your own tomato seeds. Now we're going to go in and put this through a fermentation process that actually mimics the natural way tomatoes are able to reproduce. When saving tomato seeds, you want to make sure the tomato is fully ripe. This one is Nebraska wedding tomato. It almost has a little give to it. It's fully mature and ready to go. We want to make sure that we write on our cup so that we don't mistake when we're doing so many other tomato varieties. I also like to put a date on it just so that I know how long it's been sitting. Okay, then we're just going to slice into it. And squeeze out all of the pulp and seeds. Sometimes the seeds stick and you might have to remove them. Get all of this gelatinous stuff out of the tomato. Get every seed, because every one counts. I want to save these seeds from very healthy tomato plants as well. You want plenty of fluid so it doesn't dry out, because these are going to sit for the next 3 to 5 days. And if it's low, like this one, you might want to add just a little bit of water to it. I always like to use a non-chlorinated water, so just add just a little bit. You don't need much. We have a tendency to have fruit flies here from time to time, so I like to actually cover each one of these cups so that we don't have a problem with those. It's just cheesecloth and a rubber band. Temperature for these would be room temperature, 70, 75 degrees, somewhere between there. Let these sit out of direct sunlight. Watch for a white mold to grow on the top. This is what you're looking for, just a little bit of a white mold, 3 to 5 days, and we'll come back then. We're at day 4 with our fermentation process with our tomatoes, and you can see that the mold is starting to grow on the top here. Sometimes it'll cover the whole thing, and sometimes you'll just get a little spots of it. Sometimes it'll be a bluish color or it'll be solid white. We don't want to go too much beyond this point because actually the tomatoes can start to sprout. And the good tomatoes will actually sink to the bottom, and the bad ones, or hollow ones, will actually float. And so you can actually pour those off at that stage. But you can see in this one, most everything we've got here, it's almost like 100% good tomatoes. They're all sunk. Some of these here, we've got some floaters here. And so we'll want to kind of pour these off because we don't want to keep these, but being sure not to pour off any of the good ones. Now we're going to rinse it. Just use a really fine mesh strainer. Rinse them really good, get them really clean. This fermentation process will actually rot the gel that's around the seed. That gel actually makes it to where they don't sprout when they're in the seed. So we have to kind of do a rotting process, the fermentation, to get that gel off. The fermentation process also helps with any seed-borne pathogens that could have developed in the tomato. And it helps them sprout. I want to make sure that we have a name on this. We like to use milk filters. You can use coffee filters. You can use a paper towel, but you want to be able to move them around a little bit more. And sometimes they stick really bad to a paper towel or even a cloth. So we like to use milk filters or coffee filters. Whatever you can get your hands on. Make sure you get all of these. Spread them out so that they can dry better. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 days, sometimes more depending on the humidity, temperatures. And then you can actually put this on a paper towel and then on a cookie sheet. And make sure you keep it separate from your other tomatoes that you're saving so that you don't mix your tomato varieties. These have been drying for about 3 hours, and I'm going to remove these over here, and because when we separate these a little bit, they jump. But what you want to do is just kind of break them apart so that they dry better, and then they don't stick to each other later on. I do this several times a day. Usually the first day is all you need to do, and then they're spread out enough to where they can dry without any problems. Here's our seeds. They are really nice and dry. They've been sitting about 7 days now. We have no humidity here, hardly at all, so they're going to dry quicker than if you were in a place that had a higher humidity. If you're not sure if they're totally dry, go ahead and leave them out another week or even more if you have high humidity, just so that to make sure that we don't have any mold problems later on. And we use these little coin envelopes to store them in, and just pour them right on in. These seeds will actually last anywhere from 4 to 10 years. Of course, every year the vitality goes down, but if they're stored in the right location, dry and a cool place, they'll last longer. And you can seal this, but if you feel like they're a little moist or you're worried, you can actually put this right inside a little glass and keep them up like this, and then come back every couple of days and kind of toss them around just to make sure they're totally dry. And that's all there is to processing seeds. Harvest those tomatoes, save the seeds, share with your friends, and look forward to a bountiful harvest next summer. I'm Allie with Allie'sOrganics.com. Happy gardening.